here on Juneteenth. We are gathered in the historic Fifth Ward on Juneteenth. Juneteenth occurred on June 19, 1865, when freed slaves in Texas learned that they were free. In fact, they learned that they had been freed 2.5 years prior upon the signing of the Emancipation Proclamation. That day was so significant that Reverend Jack Yates, a freed slave, purchased Emancipation Park to continue to celebrate Juneteenth year after year. Juneteenth marked a pivot point in our community. It was part of a long journey of struggle and injustice that the freed slaves had experienced, but also one that would have struggle and triumph ahead. Today, as we celebrate the resilience of our ancestors, we know that we remain on a journey of both struggle and triumph. We each have our own role to play as we continue this leg of the journey. For me, the journey has always connected to serving the Houston community. I have the honor to serve as one of your at-large Houston City Council members. And after my service there, decided that I would throw my hat in the ring to serve as Houston's next mayor. In March of 2022, I set out to do just that. I listened to Houstonians, talked about the issues, heard their concerns, and most importantly, elevated solutions. It has been an honor for which I am deeply grateful to all those who listened, engaged, and of course, supported. Of us being able to go on a journey to realize a community where every single person in our community would have an opportunity not just to live here in our community, but to thrive here in our community. Recently, Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee announced that she was coming home to Houston to serve as our next mayor. Many of you may not be aware, but when I graduated from college, I had the opportunity to work for Congresswoman Jackson Lee in Washington, D.C. for the 18th Congressional District. It was a powerful and eye-opening experience that deepened my interest in public service and for which I will remain grateful. In light of these changed set of circumstances, the last several weeks has marked a time of reflection, prayer, and engagement. I want to thank all of my family, friends, community leaders, and others who offered their opinions and views during this time. After much prayerful consideration, I am now seeking to pivot from the mayor's race in order to seek the ability to serve as the next Congresswoman for the 18th Congressional District. Okay, guys, now you can flip the signs.
Amanda for Congress.
It's no coincidence that I make this announcement today at this location, here in Fifth Ward. Behind us is a beautiful mural. Behind us is an absolutely beautiful mural, which is a backdrop highlighting some of the historic leaders from the Fifth Ward area. Those leaders like George Foreman, those leaders like Congressman Mickey Leland, Congresswoman Barbara Jordan, and of course my great uncle Louis Dorian, who owns C&L Shoe Repair just right down the road on Lyons. Also on this beautiful mural are the bold letters words that ask a question, and a question that I ask you today. On whose shoulders do you stand? I stand on the shoulders of the leaders of Fifth Ward. I stand on the shoulders of the leaders of Inwood, of Acres Homes, of the Heights, of downtown, of Third Ward, and all of the 18th Congressional District. I stand on the shoulders of those who are surrounding me here today to lift me up so that I can be a part of lifting the community up. I stand on the shoulders of great leaders in our community, those around me, pastors, leaders and trailblazers and academics, medicine, law, but also in our communities, teachers, people who simply care about making sure that everyone in our community truly has the opportunity to thrive. I want to thank some of those leaders. Dr. Alvia Wardlaw, standing next to me. I want to thank Miss Jackie Bostic, standing next to me, who happens to be the great-granddaughter of the freed slave Reverend Jack Yates, who also purchased the Emancipation Park, which we now celebrate Juneteenth for. I want to thank them for their leadership, but also for their willingness to be pillars to help lift this community up. As I stand on these shoulders, I announce my candidacy to run to be the next Congresswoman for the 18th Congressional District, to forge a path for our people. I am running for Congress because I believe we absolutely must place people over politics. And we must deliver, I'm going to repeat that, deliver the results that people are looking for and that they deserve. Amen. From Congresswoman Barbara Jordan, Congressman Mickey Leland, Congressman Craig Washington, and Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee, the people of the 18th Congressional District have had the pleasure to enjoy strong servant leadership in our community, and it is my intent with this announcement to carry the next leg of this relay, to continue the strong, bold, effective, and purpose-filled service. That's what we need, service focused on the people. As Congresswoman Jackson Lee continues her journey to serve as Houston's next mayor, I believe it is imperative, it is necessary that we elect a servant leader and someone with very capable hands, someone with capable hands that will make sure that without question, the needs and issues plaguing the community will be addressed and that the community can truly realize its full potential. Serving this district is a part of my journey. I was born in this district. I was raised in this district. I was educated in this district. My family is from this district and I live in this district. My passion for doing the right thing, no matter what the consequences, also comes from this district. My commitment is to do that as your next Congresswoman and to make sure that no one gets left behind. Although my mother, who worked just a few blocks away at St. Elizabeth Hospital for many years on Lyons Avenue, is no longer with us, and my father also is now deceased, I listen and think about the lessons that I learned from watching them be servant leaders. And that means watching them lead by example. Serve people before you lead them. Make sure that you're listening, that you amplify their voices, that you make sure that you make good on the promises that you make, and never under-promise, always over-deliver. These are the lessons that I take from the journey I watched them take. And of course, these are the lessons I will attribute to my service as the next Congresswoman in our district. Since Juneteenth was first observed many years ago, we had a lot of progress made, but there's still so much work to be done. Work around addressing issues of equity. Before we can ever claim to be fully emancipated, we must make sure that outcomes in our communities are equitable. Outcomes as it relates to access to health care, access to education, access to economic opportunity, access to mobility, access to environmental justice, access to housing. These are things that we must prioritize in order for our communities to truly realize their full potential. I pause here because I think about, before I start any meeting, I talk about our mission, our purpose, what we call our why. And I always like to get centered there because sometimes you can lose focus of that. So when I was navigating this decision, I focused on that mission, that purpose, that why. And I realized that this pivot falls squarely in line with that mission. It falls squarely in line with that goal to ensure that every single person in our community has the opportunity to thrive. Although the office sought has changed, the tools we use has changed. We'll use federal resources instead of local resources. We will use federal laws and policies instead, but we will get the results our community is looking for and deserves. Together, we stand on the shoulders of so many greats, those that have been heralded and those that have been unsung. But as we stand on their shoulders and as we unite together, we can build a community that is bold and innovative and inclusive and creates a community where every single person in it, no matter what their zip code, no matter what their address, has an opportunity not just to live here, but they can thrive here. That is our mission and goal. Let us use this day, Juneteenth, as we celebrate and honor those that have come before us, as a true call to action. Let's remember those upon whose shoulders you stand and honor their legacy by carrying their torch forward in a way that uplifts this leg of our collective journey. Please join me as we embark upon this leg of the journey, this leg in the 18th Congressional District journey that will enable us to empower our residents to get the results that they deserve so that they truly may thrive. Today, I ask for your support to serve as your next Congresswoman for the 18th Congressional District. And as I've stated before, now is our time. Let's get to work, Houston. Thank y'all.
Yes.
Thank y'all. So I thank you guys for coming out. If there are any questions from press, we can answer those now. We are supporting Congresswoman Jackson Lee in her endeavor to serve as Houston's next mayor. Yes. Any next questions? All right, guys. Well, you can, one more. Yes, so the question was, what was my experience working for her? I had the opportunity to be an intern for her right after I graduated from college. I did it through the Congressional Black Caucus Foundation's internship program, and I had the opportunity to write speeches, talking points, you name it, do research, go staff. I had a really up close and personal perspective of what it means to be in Washington and be at the center of a lot of the policy making and what happens behind the scenes. It truly was a great opportunity for me at a very early age that reconfirmed my interest in public service. Thank you. Yes. Yes. He asked if I had 1, 2, 3 top priorities. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, but I will give you the top 3. We've got to make sure that we deal with meat and potatoes first, as I call it. And that is making sure families are secure both by health care access, that's critical. Also, economic opportunity is critical. We also want to make sure that housing is front and center. Given the gaps in the housing that we have here in Houston, we need to make sure there are more CDBG dollars available for our region so that we can build housing at price points of the levels that people need.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes.
Run, Amanda, run!
I love it.
Run, Amanda, run! 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 Run, Amanda, run!
Thank you.
Run, Amanda, run!
Thank you.
Run, Amanda, run!
Run, Amanda, run!
Thank y'all so much. Okay, any other questions?